Here. I'm used to going that way.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. It's behind me now. Don't confuse.
Just to see if anybody's paying attention. Okay.
We had one thing to do.
Can I get a motion to approve an amended agenda
I
with
make
the
a motion.
following
Go ahead.
amendments? Under personnel action, item A, we'll be adding that it is, the individual is terminated. Under new business, item C, change substantially completed to April 1, 2024 from February 16th, 2024. This will allow potential weather impacts on the concrete flat work around the patio. We're adding new business item L, a motion to approve a sales agreement with Revised Web Services for web hosting. Initial cost of $14,950 to be funded by future contingency fund transfer. We're adding new business item M, a motion to approve a travel training request for Officer Sherelle Hughes to attend EVOC training at the Law Enforcement Training Academy in Pierre, September 25th through 29th, 2023.
I make a motion to approve an amended agenda. Item A, using terminated prior to last day of 9/8/23. Item C, change substantially completed to 4/1/24 from 2/16/24 to allow potential weather impacts on concrete flatwork for the patio. Add item L, a motion to approve a sales agreement with Revised Web Service for website hosting, initial cost of $14,950 to be funded by future contingency fund transfer. Adding item M, a motion to approve a travel training request for Officer Sherelle Hughes to attend EVOC training at the LET Academy in Pierre, 9/25 to 9/29/23.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And again, I'll remind all council members to please abstain from any agenda item you believe you have a conflict of interest in prior to voting on the item. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the September 5 council meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from September 5th council meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the bills in between?
I make a motion to approve the bills in between in the amount of $223,624.45.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the current claims?
I make a motion to approve the current claims of $124,203.60.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, coming to communications from the public, Frank Maynard, Fall River Emergency Manager. I think you have some comments for us regarding the emergency plan and pre-disaster mitigation plan update.
Good evening. I brought with me this evening, my name is Frank Maynard. I'm the Fall River County Emergency Manager. I brought Gary Baker, Assistant Emergency Manager, with me. Part of the requirements that emergency managers have is they must meet with the municipalities and governing bodies throughout the county and do an annual update on the local emergency operation plan, better known as the LEOP. and the mitigation plan, pre-disaster mitigation plan. I'll address the LEOP initially. With the changes that have come about, we had to add a few things to it, and so we're going to be republishing that document. And I took it to the county commission, the first meeting in September, for approval for the revisions, and we will be providing a copy of that to each of the municipalities. That's a protected document. It's not a public document. So it's on a right to know or need to know basis, but within the next probably 10 days or so, we will deliver a copy of it to Misty at the finance office, and anybody's welcome that's on the commission is welcome to review it if you would like. With the new changes that FEMA is making, they're doing away with the format that we used when this plan was developed initially. And so my perception is, from what I'm hearing from the state people and the federal people, that probably within the next year or two, we're probably going to have to totally rewrite that under the new guidance that they're providing. Any questions about the LEOP?
Are the changes significant, or are they just a result of FEMA changing their document, same information, different format?
There's no major changes to it so far as the content of it. There were a few things that we had to add to it, but the basic document is the same, but we need to incorporate those changes that are now required. And it'll be under the same format that it was initially, but then down the road, it'll probably be rewritten. I won't rewrite it, somebody else will.
Congratulations, Gary.
Way to go, Gary. Thanks for volunteering, sir.
Second plan I'm going to talk about is the mitigation plan. The mitigation plan is in its third year, and we were contacted by the Black Hills Council of Governments, who wrote the plan for us initially. And right now, we apply for a grant to have that plan rewritten. And it's taking FEMA between 10 and 12 months to approve the grant application. And it takes about 8 months or thereabouts to do the plan. So the recommendation is that we go ahead and start the process to do the update on the new plan. And that's based on whether or not we get the grant. But the existing plan that we have is still in effect for 2 more years. And we're hoping that we'll be blessed by FEMA and get the money, and we'll get the new one rewritten. And when we do the rewrite, we have members from each of the municipalities and emergency services, as well as members of the county government. They meet collectively, and I think typically there's usually 4 meetings where all of these people get together and look at the mitigation strategies to lessen the impact of natural or man-made disasters on the community, and mitigation strategies that we could apply for grants or develop some type of a plan to eliminate those and lessen that severity. So down the road, when we get ready to do that, probably we'll come to the Hot Springs Council and ask for 1 or 2 members to be on that panel when we do the rewrite. One of the things that we're going to do when we rewrite the plan is we're going to incorporate the Community Wildfire Protection Plan within that plan. Prior, we have always had the CWPP, the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, as a separate standalone document of about, I think it's 112 or 114 pages, and with the maps and everything. And we're going to include that now in the mitigation plan when we do the rewrite. So we won't have so many books of plans on the shelf. They'll be condensed a little bit. And within that mitigation plan, there's some strategies that were identified by the panel that put that together a few years ago. And there are some some items in there that I think the city of Hot Springs brought up that, like fuel reduction, emergency generation for the sewer and water plants and things of that nature. And when we were at conference last week, I visited with Jim Poppin, who is the mitigation officer for the state. And there is funding available through the application process to possibly get some funding to satisfy some of those needs. So it might be something that the city might want to look at, and I will be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. I will not write the application for you, but I'll help you if you need help getting those put together.
What's the timeline on those, Frank?
There isn't a definite timeline on them. What they do is they accept applications throughout the year, and then as funding becomes available, and the funding for those is a result of disasters that have happened. And we had the 2022-2023 presidential disaster declarations for the blizzards and whatever, so there's mitigation funding going to be available for those projects. And what they do is they take the projects that they have on hand, they prioritize them, the mitigation group prioritizes them, and then however many they can fund, they fund, and then we wait till something bad happens again and we get more money, and then we fund more.
So,
What's the name of the grant we would apply for?
It's a mitigation grant, hazard mitigation grant.
so sooner would be better.
Yep.
Get it while
Sooner would be better.
Get it while the piggy bank's still
Yep.
got something in it.
So, and like I said, I would be more than willing to assist with what knowledge I have in regard to that venue, but I will not write the applications for you.
We appreciate your help, Frank.
Any questions about the mitigation plan?
What else is involved in mitigation? You got the fire, what else?
It can be fire, it can be flood, it can be man-made, it can be terrorist attacks, it can be anything. It's an all hazards plan.
So you're putting together the plan for the county to mitigate against all of those possibilities?
Correct. And that includes the municipalities. That's why we bring members from the municipalities in, so that they can look at each and every individual need that they may have within their community.
And so how involved is FEMA? Is FEMA like 100%? Or like if FEMA wasn't involved in the government, would we not have any money to protect ourselves? And if that's the case, then we're almost relying on disasters just to get money.
That's a difficult question to ask. Typically, there's two types of declarations for disasters. One is the state declaration, the second one is the presidential disaster declaration. And FEMA has thresholds that have to be met in order for it to be a federal presidential disaster declaration. And those thresholds are relatively high. So far as assistance during, if we didn't meet either the federal threshold, if we didn't meet that, there's funding available through the state that would help the local communities take care of that.
Do we have any volunteer
Do we have
groups
any
to help? Like, I mean, I know we have like volunteers, like fire, any like search and rescue, any, I mean, other volunteer groups available to help ease that?
The state has a listing, and we have a listing in our office of the state VOAD organizations, Red Cross, all of those different types of organizations that would come in and assist with recovery.
Sorry not to belabor the point, because I mean, we've seen what happened in Hawaii, we saw what happened in Ohio, so and I think if that happened here in Hot Springs, I mean, who takes control?
Well, depending upon what type of a disaster it is, if it's on federal land, the feds are going to take control. If it's on state land, the state's going to. If it's outside of either one of those boundaries, then it will become the responsibility of the local entity, which would be in the county. It would be myself and Gary who would organize it. If it's in the city of Hot Springs, then we would be a player in assisting, but it would become the responsibility of the city. And we're not going to leave anybody hanging out to dry, and the state's not going to leave anybody hanging out to dry. We'll all gather together and we'll do what we have to do to take care of the problem.
What's the best way to reach you, Frank? Are you listed publicly?
Pardon?
Are you listed on their website? The way to
What?
contact you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you'd like
Thank you.
to take the plan.
Yeah, I'll have to stop down by City Hall to have a look at that.
I think a good example of what you're talking about, Frank, was if everybody remembers a few years ago, we had the fire going up Fifth Street and down there, what was that one called? The Wine Yard?
Vineyard Fire.
Fire. And I think that what you're referring to was an outstanding thing that saved our city. So, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We try.
the area has, I would call it a very robust mutual aid organization, and there are a lot of things in place to bring a lot of resources to play in the event of a fire emergency or even a search and rescue emergency.
Well, I know usually whoever you get your money from, they have a good say in how things are run, so.
We'll hope. Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
So much for everything you do.
And thank you, Gary.
Welcome to the party, Gary. We appreciate you coming on.
Okay, are there any other communications from the public? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Can I get a motion to approve Personnel Action A?
I make a motion to approve Personnel Action A.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the second reading of Ordinance 1248-2024?
Make a motion to approve second reading ordinance 1248, 2024 appropriation ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? Just a reminder, this is our 2024 budget. We reviewed it in somewhat detail last meeting. So if there's no other discussion, Misty, would you call the roll?
Bill Lukens,
Yes?
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Travis Orbach,
Yes.
Deborah Johnston,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Hal Glanville,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston,
Yes.
Linda Barbell.
Yes.
Thank you.
The ordinance passes. Thank you very much, council. Can I get a motion to approve a revision to the 2024 municipal tax levy?
I make a motion to approve revision to 2024 municipal tax levy, the amount of $1,369,120 to $1,370,434. An increase of $1,314 is due to the addition of centrally assessed utility values to growth percentage not available prior to 9/13 of '23.
Second.
Any discussion?
Are we going to talk about the levy in a little detail?
We certainly can.
What is this centrally assessed utility value?
So, these are all utility companies, and their value is not determined at the same time as all the other values in the city. So the utility companies that we have in our city had an increase in value that just became available to us. The amount, although it seems small, $1,314, it actually resulted in a 0.10% change to our growth factor. So although it added a little bit of money, next year, when we go to take our levy, if you remember when we talked about levies in budget, it starts with the prior year levied amount. And then we can add CPI and growth, and those are limited. We can only take those two things in addition. So if we let it go this year, then every year we don't get that again. And that happens every year, and it compounds exponentially. So we determined the way to ensure that we're able to capitalize on those dollars that are available to the city and not be laced with our appropriation ordinance. Because the reason you had to approve this change is at the bottom of your appropriation ordinance, you're giving me permission to levy the amount needed from the county for the year, and that amount just changed. So that's why I have the two separate items. Now, from a taxpayer standpoint, when growth increases value, our mill levy goes down. So although we're taking what is allowed by statute for our growth percentage and the CPI increases, because our total value grows, the calculation of taxes that will be billed to property owners is based on $1,000 of value and then our mill levy. And that percentage goes down when our growth goes up. So we did go down to 4.24. Thanks for.
So that growth, essentially, so it's taking money away, money will be kept back with the people, and that money will be coming from the utilities.
Essentially, assessed utilities did add to the growth figure, yep.
Okay. And then again, the amount, the total value, the total request, that's where we're short to run the city, correct? Based on all the other income we have from permits and licenses and...
That's not what we were short. If you looked at your budget notes, you...
We were
No,
short
we were
300
short
and some thousand.
307,000.
You're correct. This just allows us to take the maximum amount we can and not just forgo it because the values don't come out until after we pass our ordinance.
It's not going to put much of a dent in what we're
Short.
short.
Right.
Great question, so thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to accept the bid and proposal from BDT Enterprises LLC for the clubhouse retaining wall reconstruction project?
I make a motion to accept the bid from BTD Enterprises LLC of $138,856.07 for the Southern Hills Golf Course Clubhouse Retaining Wall Reconstruction Project.
Second.
Any discussion?
So if this doesn't go through, then we're just kind of status quo, right? As is, kind of with a mess over there?
Yeah, we've been trying to find somebody to rebuild this for about 2 years now.
Actually, I think we're going on 3 years now.
No, I think two is
Is it 2?
And
good, 2 full years.
Yeah.
if, you may have heard me give an amount, I think in the Public Works report of $133,000 was their bid. That did not include a required bond of $5,000, and so that's why the amount increased to what you see before you, $138,856.07.
Yeah, that's their cost for the bond, but the bond would cover the entire project.
Yes.
So that just adds debt to the golf club side of things?
No, we're not taking out debt for it.
They're good, they have enough in their account at this time to pay for it.
The golf course has 138 grand sitting there?
I give you financial reports, and on the cash balance report, it shows the golf course fund and the cash balance at the end of that month. And we looked it over, it's at 275 right now, 275,000 and some change. They're nearing the end of their revenue collection window, and their expenses continue throughout the year, but we do project that there'll be adequate funds. And we got some insurance money last year that's helped grow that cash balance that we didn't completely use on roof repairs,
So it's like, that's what a business should be, right? Have that money on hand and take care of itself.
It's an enterprise fund.
That's good enough for me.
So that's how it's functioned.
Okay. Any other discussion?
good discussion, thank you.
Good questions. Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for construction with BDT Enterprises LLC for the Southern Hills Golf Course Clubhouse Retaining Wall Project?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for construction with BTD Enterprises LLC for the Southern Hills Golf Course Clubhouse Retaining Wall Reconstruction Project for a total contracted price of $138,856.07, with work to be substantially completed to 4/1/24 to allow potential weather impacts on concrete flat work for the patio.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this contract time sensitive?
Obviously, as you said, it can
What's
be
that?
later than 4/1/24.
You
Yes.
have 6 months to get it done at this, if we approve it.
So what I'm asking is, we're going to get you to sign it or the mayor,
Well,
depending on the situation?
uh,
The mayor will be back Wednesday.
yeah, Mayor will be back Wednesday, so
Okay.
we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Did you second that?
Yes, Linda?
Okay, all good questions.
Very good.
It's, the questions are good, that we need to, when we vote on something, that we should have good understanding. So thank you for all those questions. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business item D is a discussion only regarding the replacement of the clubhouse AC units. Jason has done some research. He has sought out multiple bids. He has been unsuccessful at getting multiple bids. He has a bid to just relocate the existing units which contain R22 Freon, and that bid is for $1,530. That is not his desired choice because those units are old. They don't make the parts for them anymore, and so if we did need replacement parts, we would be relying on parts that might be in stock somewhere. The next bid he received, and these are from Bill's Heating and Cooling, all of these, was for a 5-ton and a 4-ton units that has a 15 SEER rating, and that is for $26,694.17. And a similar unit that has a 20 SEER rating for $33,837.37. Because of the increased energy efficiency and electrical savings, Jason would like to go with the more expensive, higher SEER rating. Again, we're not voting on this tonight. This is kind of an information only. There is currently adequate funds in cash balance for the golf course to cover both the wall and the new air handling units. So I've told you most of what I know, but I would, if there's any questions, give it a shot and I'll see what I can do.
Are we trying to stay local for bids?
No, we would like 3 bids per our procurement policy, so if you know
'Cause I got-
somebody who's in this business who could.
Yeah, Precision Mechanical gave me a bid. They're out of Rapid, so.
Excellent, I'll write it down and share that name with Jason.
Okay, yeah, it's... Okay,
Bill, can I get a copy of those when?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and if there's no other questions, that we'll go on to new business item E. Can I get a motion to schedule a hearing on Monday, October 2nd?
I make a motion to schedule a hearing on Monday, October 2nd at 7:10 PM to consider the proposal for PUD number 2 Martin Tract.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just to give you a little update or explanation of what this is about from the planning and zoning. Planning and Zoning is real impressed with the plans this company has. It's for multiple housing units to be built in the area that's between Latter-day Saints Church and the entry to Boulder Falls on
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness, I'm sorry. From the Jehovah's Witness Church to the entrance to Boulder Falls off of Highway 71. So it'll be on the right of the entrance, and it goes all the way up to the first curve and around the curve. And that kind of an L-shaped area, it's kind of where the fireworks are put off, is on the back side of that piece of property. And there's really good drawings, schematics, everything's just been done to a very high level to explain what, when, where, how, what is done in it. It will have 5 duplexes, several townhomes, and then 3 single homes, and a small park with a trail integrated into it. They're asking for the PUD because of the setback differences that are in our ordinances are not really followed in this plan, but it is a beautiful plan how this is being put together, and that will offer us up 18 new homes. Yeah.
And just to bring, I guess, maybe some of the new council members up to speed, it's been about a year ago, and I'm guessing at the timeline, that we approved a replatting
Yes.
of Martin Track 1 and Martin Track 2 that would enable this. And it's been about, and now I'm really guessing, about 3 years ago, the zoning ordinance was revised to allow planned unit development, so that when somebody like this developer wanted to come in, council could, planning and zoning, and then council could provide approval, if appropriate, for an overall plan of a series of buildings, as opposed to approving each and every structure. So that would come in, if you will, potentially haphazard, but this is indeed a planned community.
Right.
And so this development very much fits what the zoning, the revision to the zoning ordinance was hoping for.
Is that along the roads that were built in Boulder Falls and assessed to property owners?
Mockingbird Lane will be going to the right, and that's the one road that did not get paved.
Will they be paving it?
I'm not sure.
And then I also wondered about the water and wastewater infrastructure required for development of this size and our capacity to support.
Tracy has been looking at that.
Yep,
He hasn't.
He has.
David is looking yet.
I can't tell you in what detail, but he, as he's looked at other requests in the area, this is...
Because that's the area we want to serve by that new
Tank.
we
Yeah.
want
Right.
it, Right.
right.
So we will get his assurance that we can support the
Yes.
development prior to the hearing.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
So is this developer selling these individually, these homes?
They're townhouses, I know.
I believe he will be, yeah. So, and these are all good questions for the hearing. This motion is just to set the hearing.
Yeah, we'd want to make sure that Tracy questioned those answered before the hearing. Because we want to pass the ordinance, first reading of the ordinance after the hearing.
Do we have plans at City Hall for this?
Yes.
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 The developer.
Oh.
Scott.
Just having to approve the plan.
Scott Sogi has them. You can go in and look at them.
Okay.
Okay, once again, good discussion. It's great to have interest. Any other? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to terminate the Fall River County Gas Boy System cost-sharing agreement?
I make a motion to terminate the Fall River County Gas Boy System cost share agreement that was dated April 8th, 2001.
Second.
Any discussion? A little background on this. This is an old agreement in which this is where anybody that lives in Scanner Land used to hear the police say, "I'll be at the county shop for fuel." And if you would remember, when you would review the current claims, there would be under 42,001, account 42,100, charges to the Fall River County auditor, and that was fuel that we were buying from Fall River County. Well, part of the agreement was any maintenance or repairs to that facility, we paid 50% of. And we may have got a relatively good deal on the fuel price, and that worked well up until the time that repairs had to be made or there were damages, and then the cost savings on the fuel kind of went to the wayside. Am I missing anything, Misty?
No, we paid a couple times smaller amounts, but they're looking to replace the system. And I think it's 26,000, give or take some dollars, so our 50% share would be 13,000.
And
The
that,
fuel prices are not that significantly different. We were able to open an account at Nelson's, and
Yeah.
our officers are now fueling up with cards at Nelson's.
and so 13,000 out of our police department budget that wasn't budgeted for probably caused cardiac symptoms.
I honestly don't think this is a valid agreement either. Wasn't on any council agenda, it's not attested to by their finance officer. It was written in 2001, it has no terms, you've seen it. We just kind of paid those when they were small, but now that it's big, we told them we didn't want to do it anymore, and they asked us to take action to terminate the agreement.
So there's the background. Any other discussion? Hearing,
I was going to say, is Fall River County going to continue on with it and fix it?
Yeah, it's there.
yeah, that's
Okay.
all the
Okay.
county
That's
vehicles
theirs.
fuel up out there.
And we didn't use 50% of the functioning of the unit either by any means.
Nope.
It was a fraction of that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, can I get a motion, and I will be abstaining from this motion. So can I get a motion to authorize the council president to accept Dakota Asphalt's proposal for placement of asphalt patching in various locations throughout the city?
Make a motion to authorize the council president to accept the Dakota Asphalt proposal for the placement of asphalt patching in various locations throughout the city, 1,320 tons at 144.20 at $144.20 per ton, and mobilization at a proposed total cost of $194,119.
Second,
Any discussion?
they've done a really good job, what I've seen.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I abstain. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to authorize the finance officer to transfer 2023 approved donation from the bid fund to the general fund in the amount of $2,000?
I make a motion to authorize finance officer to transfer 2023 approved donation from the bid fund 213 to the general fund 101 in the amount of $2,000 used to support the purchase of one police department vehicle wrapped the 2022 Durango.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I want to thank those people for their donation to the police department. That was nice of them.
This
Yes.
is their second time doing that, so I will share your thanks.
So are all the vehicles wrapped now, or?
With the exception of the 2014 Explorer, it's still white.
It's
No.
It's gonna be the next.
Okay, can I get a motion to authorize the finance officer to reinvest the maturing U.S. Treasury bond at South Dakota Fit?
I make a motion to authorize the finance officer to reinvest the maturing U.S. Treasury bond at South Dakota Fit 621 EPMS-DSR into another U.S. Treasury bond with South Dakota Fit for a 12-month term at 5.27%, subject to minor market fluctuations.
Second.
Ready now?
Give it to Hal.
Give it to Hal.
Give it to Hal, it's his first one tonight.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $10,485 to the additional sales tax fund for professional service?
I make a motion to accept automatic budget supplement for $10,485.48 to additional sales tax fund, professional services 212-21200-42200 for construction and construction administration of the 10-unit T-hangar. Reimbursement revenue received from AIP grant funding number 3-46-0022-015-2021.
Second.
I'm done.
Did you second that, Melissa or Deb?
Got it.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve a travel training request from Safety Coordinator Lori Sherrard and Water Operator Pete Miles?
I make a motion to approve travel training request from Safety Coordinator Lori Sherrard and Water Operator Pete Miles to attend the 2023 Annual Safety and Loss Control Conference, November 1st through November 2nd in 2023 in Pierre.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve a sales agreement with Revise Web Services for website hosting?
I make a motion to approve a sales agreement with Revise Web Services for website hosting. Initial cost of $14,950 to be funded by future contingency fund transfer.
Second.
Any discussion?
Who made the decision to go with these guys? I mean, who was in the group evaluating?
The mayor, the assistant finance officer, Ariel Bachman, and our social media coordinator with the chamber, Zoe Tatiani.
I'll say this would be a good example for having a technology committee, I think, stuff like this, but.
So why are we changing? Are they going to rebuild a different one? This one, the one we've got looks pretty good.
They sold the company that had our previous one, and our agreement with them expires in February. And Catalyst, the new Canadian-owned company that took over, is increasing our annual rate and many others throughout the state. The municipal league actually proposed or promoted them, so many communities, including the league, use old Gov Office, which is now Catalyst, and they won't honor the terms of our agreement at renewal. So a 58% increase got us and many other communities throughout the state looking for new web service providers. And there were several reaching out to us that were analyzed, and for what we have, which we really like, Deb, thank you for mentioning, it works real good, we were happy to get it, it was a big change when we did it. We can get the same thing for a lot less. And if you look at the agreement that was provided, I know it was provided late to you, the third page is an analysis of the cost. And the total 5-year cost was revised, $24,550, price guaranteed 5 years. Their total Catalyst cost over 5 years would be $33,822. So same service, hopefully similar look, same functionality. significantly lower cost.
Is there some kind of protocol for using someone who specializes in governments? Are they able to do something that like a regular freelancer wouldn't be able to do?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure, I can't answer that question because I don't know, but yes, it usually does help us to use businesses that specialize in the field that we're in, but it's not a requirement by any means, and it's not like these people only do municipal government web pages, so. But I don't know what other private people might be able to do. And I'm sorry, while we were talking, I didn't get who seconded that. Moved by Huddleston, thank you.
I forgot I did, sorry.
Good questions, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve a travel training request from Officer Sherelle Hughes to attend the EVOC training at the LET Academy in Pierre?
Make a motion to approve a travel training request for Officer Sherelle Hughes to attend EVOC training at the LET Academy in Pierre, 9/25 through 9/29 of 23.
Second.
Is it 9/24?
I'm sorry.
I might have it wrong.
Mine shows 9/25.
9/24 on the...
I have 9.4.
I'll correct that to 9/24.
I'll second again.
Got it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll go to committee reports. Admin Finance, JR, Melissa?
No.
That's true now.
Okay, Admin Finance met today at 1 o'clock here at the Mueller Civic Center. Present were Finance Officer Misty Summers Walton, Council Members Hal Glanville, Melissa Niles, Co-Chair, Deb Johnston, and J.R. Huddleston, Chair. Old business, additional costs related to water wastewater replacement road project, ongoing review and discussion, necessary funding for water wastewater overages, potential end-of-year interfund loan transfer, delayed mid-year transfers, water wastewater, reviewing those in November. Outlook looks positive for the transfer. Item 2, old business. Discuss selling land city owns, 4.14 acres adjacent to Simon Quarry near Evergreen Cemetery, general government surplus. Resolution drafted. Item B, 7+ acres north of Hayden's property in Hot Brook Canyon, water replat and only offer for buildable piece for sale, secure water line easement surplus. Pending more information about easement questions, resolution has been drafted. Item C, 100+ acres near the Hot Brook Canyon pumping station, water, not meadow area. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation has been contacted, under discussion pending communication with Leah Burgess.
I have an appointment scheduled with her Thursday.
Good.
So
Whoa.
Yay.
Good. Item 3, review utility fees must set new rates for 2024 and beyond. Casey Burris, Project Manager, Technical Assistance Provider, Midwest Assistance Program. 2.5% increase to rates DANR considering change to the minimum rate of $35 to $50. Ordinance revisions are in the work. We discussed and proposed for first meeting in November. Item 4, review, discuss, propose changes, additions to the City of Hot Springs personnel policies, clothing, TikTok, PD night differential, overtime clarification for exempt employees, exempt employee use of leave, flexible work arrangements, remote work, travel expenses, work on a holiday, clarification and return of city property, and City of Hot Springs Safety Manual clarifying PPE standards and per diem rates, discussed pending final review. New business, item 1, discuss Kim Moyer request to pull mobile food vendor license and prohibit sales during road construction. Committee denied the request. Item 2, review monthly finance officer reports. Mr. reviewed with the committee. Item 3, proposed job description changes review. Committee reviewed with no issues with proposed changes. Repayment of expense training, certification and clothing, equipment policy draft review. Committee reviewed with no proposed changes. Mayor items were none. Committee member items. JR discussed a constituents issue with Evans Plunge Punch Pass. We adjourned at 2:40. Next meeting will be October 2nd at 1 p.m. at the Mueller Civic Center.
Thank you, JR. Any questions for JR?
JR, I got a question for you. You mentioned returning of city property. I was wondering, at one time, a citizen here in town had taken like 13 T-posts and a postal digger. Was that ever replaced back to the city shop?
I'll have to go back and check my records. When did this happen?
Oh, it probably happened about the first part of summer.
Of this summer?
Yes, sir.
Who told you that happened?
The city workers told me.
Okay, so check with them to see
Okay.
if it's been returned, because I haven't.
I wouldn't have any.
Well, being public works, I thought that was their gig.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I wouldn't
Apologies.
have a clue, but you better bring it back.
I will, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey, JR, you mentioned selling of land, and you mentioned surplus. Are those two together
Two separate surplus requests.
for land?
Yes.
So what decisions go into whether or not we sell land?
You will make the decision as a council. The reason these pieces of property were identified, there actually is for three different reasons. One is landlocked, and we've used it to mine, so Center Materials has had a mining agreement with us. The other is 100 plus or minus acres that sit above our water pumping station out
Out
at
in
Hopper.
Hopper Canyon.
And we're
Right.
speaking, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is potentially interested in a conservation easement. And then the third piece of property is on the opposite side of Hopper Canyon, and it actually is two pieces, and one is quite desirable in the market and could be buildable, and it is owned by the water department and potentially not necessary. So it will come in front of council when we've determined that it's appropriate to move that recommendation forward, and then we'll potentially sell it by auction or offering it for bid through publication.
So does planning decide, like they look at a piece of land, they say, okay, let's sell that? Who makes that decision?
We don't have a lot of property that's potential.
It's been in committee for a year now.
I mean, like who's the individual that says, I like that land should be sold? Is there one individual? It just kind of,
There's all kinds of different reasons these kinds of things come before you.
Yeah.
Not just one.
It's been coming through Public Works.
And the water
and
department's
Yeah.
issues with funding for their improvements and
Oh, okay.
all this land that they have that's outside of city limits and not currently usable.
I think this subject started, one of the reasons was because of all of the the expenses we were incurring on the road project, just thinking about where we could come up with more money. And that we had this land sitting there, so what should we do with it? But it also was stimulated by the one parcel that's up there by, that has been mined.
And
And,
then we had an organization asking about one of the pieces that,
oh yeah,
the one that we believe is marketable and could, develop a home on it. We did have a charitable organization come to council and ask about that property.
Wanted us to, in
they
fact,
wanted to
donate it.
donate it.
Wanted us to donate it to them so they could build on it.
I would remind council that we have had some executive sessions over some of the material we're discussing, so bear in mind that we have, so.
so where is the planning commission, is that like the best place to go in order to dig in more further on those sorts of things?
I can provide you with the information
Okay.
I have to date, and then we can go from there.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, JR. Travis, airport?
The Airport Advisory Committee met Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning at the Hot Springs Municipal Airport. Members present were Shane Miller, Gary Telkamp, and Petra Wilson. Employees present were Tracy Bastian and Ivan Venner. Elected officials, Alderman Bill Lukens and Travis Orbach. Charlie Baker from KLJ Engineering was there. Members of the public were Bruce Penner and Josh Scott. The agenda was adopted as published, and Bruce Penner communicated from the public. He's renting a hangar space out there, and he needs help with his plane. I think Ivan is going to take that on to help Bruce out. The T-Hangar update, the notice to proceed was dated September 8th of 2021, making this, the T-Hangar project, over 2 years old currently. We got word today that the rebar is good to go. So that kind of changes what I had to report here, so I won't report that. So the rebar is good to go. And then since the rebar is good to go, I'm still think the concrete can be poured in one day?
That's what the contractor says. He's going to make the pour in a single day.
Okay.
Wow, that's huge.
And the slab or foundation part of the T-Hangar would be completed in 2 weeks when those two items were done. The liquidated damages are currently at $77,600 or 10.8% of the contract. Monthly fuel sales, 1,559 gallons of fuel were sold in August. The tank level is currently at 5,449 and 1/10 gallons. Monthly flight operations, we had 82 flight operations in August, 53 balloon launches, and 18 landings in August. Airport observations, opportunities for improvement. Committee members recommended that the land lease agreement be added to the airport page of the website, and it has been done. Bill did that. Volunteers, we appreciate this. We had volunteers who came in and cleaned the terminal, building lounge and restrooms in preparation for the Black Hills fly-in. There was no old business. And new business, we discussed the airport manager job description. That's a discussion that's ongoing. We're going to revisit that in October's meeting, which will be held Thursday, October 5th at 8:30 at the municipal airport, and the meeting adjourned at 9:44 in the morning. And then, if I may, I was going to do a quick review of the fly-in, the fuel sales there. We sold 282,813 and almost a half gallons total for the 4 days.
Yeah.
And we did lose some revenue, but I think we made up for it with, a lot of, we were all there. So, just for the public, it was a good time. We had the dinner, a lot of pilots flying in, enjoying the, what do you call it, the competition, the friendly competition stall.
Short takeoff and landings.
Yeah, short takeoff and landings, so.
We had, if I can interject a little bit, they figured they had 60 aircraft to come, which I think is the largest fly-in to date. We had a few folks in their tents underneath their airplanes, but we had a lot of folks driving to town to stay in the motels. So it was a boost to the shoulder season.
How did they get there?
The organizers, we used our courtesy cars, plus the organizers had vehicles set up to run them back and forth to town.
Excellent.
We are also looking at job descriptions, administrative and finance, and making some changes, so please include me in your job description proposed changes for the airport managers so we can get them all done together.
To go backwards, what was wrong with the rebar?
It got some of the initial load was bent wrong,
Oh, okay.
but boy, there is a lot of it.
Now, they're saying they can pour this, and I know we haven't got to the question part. Sorry, apologies.
No, I'm
where
done
this
with
is-
my report, so.
Are you not done yet?
No, I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to the question part, this is for both of you. I know they're saying that they can delay the concrete in 1 day. That's a lot of concrete. Is there any guarantee that once they lay it, if it goes south and goes wrong, are they going to be able to handle their business afterwards?
What KLJ has recommended to the contractor is that they pour a lot of extra cylinders so that they can test early. And so being optimistic that if there is a problem, it'll be identified, but also if the concrete goes to strength early, then they can start construction of the building early. So,
There's a lot of construction administration, these FAA-funded projects. So KLJ and our engineer that represents them has a lot of experience in this type of work, and if anything, they go over the top.
yeah, it's, and I think that's been one of the issues that, we've had some delays, and this was the first, I believe this was the first FAA project that this contractor had undertaken, and it is certainly challenging and different than the run-of-the-mill project that a non-federally funded project has. There's a lot of oversight. But we're very excited to have the progress that
Finally.
that we.
How many yards are they pouring in one day? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Well, everybody says a lot.
It's a lot.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's, how big's the slab, Gary?
I don't know what it is, and I talked to Dave, he told me how many yards they were gonna pour too. I could be misspeaking when I said 800 yards, is that possible? I don't know, it's just a number.
And that was,
You could pour it all one day, and he said, yeah.
and we didn't make him get up and come to the microphone, but that was Gary Telkamp of somewhere on South 6th Street speaking.
So the trick is finding 800 cubic feet of cement in one day. Where are they going to get
I
that?
might be mistaken on that.
Yeah, but that's still whatever,
Like a lot of cars.
whatever the number is, that's a huge amount of cement to get from whatever source in one day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why we use concrete contractors and not.
Yeah. It'd be fun to go out and watch. Tell us when it's going to happen.
Okay, Larry, Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management.
Oh, I'm sorry, did we get the next meeting date
Yes.
announced?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I didn't get it.
Thursday.
10/5?
Let me look again here. It is, yep, Thursday, October 5th.
Sorry. Thank you, Travis. Go ahead on.
Okay, the next meeting will be, it's been moved to the 28th of September. It'll be at 7 PM at the Mueller Center here. Everybody's invited to come see where your trash goes to.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Historic Preservation Commission, Deborah?
The commission met September 6th at 5 PM here at the Mueller Center. Present were Scott Sogi, Christine Heidebrink, Kara Hagan, Brian Crawford, and myself. Guests present were Tony Ristow, Roy Ball, and Andrea Powers. A motion to table approval of the August 2nd minutes was made by Kara and seconded by Christine because the people that were present at that meeting weren't present at this meeting. New business. Tony Ristow and Roy Ball were present with detailed information to discuss replacement of the porch pillars on their residence at 802 Elm Street. Scott and myself coordinated with Tracy Bastian to provide them with some additional information on alternatives to consider as the city has just recently purchased new pillars for the Kidney Springs, and I did get that information to them. Number two, Number two, proposed new paint colors for the garage at 713 North River Street. That building is actually the Happy Joe's Bows Grooming, Scobie Brewery, and the pop-up produce market. He wants to paint the front three business areas to include the doors, a horizontal steel band across the top, and the colors were discussed, and they were chosen from the historic list of paint colors, swatches. It was approved, and all were in favor. The current distribution of funds through the Deadwood Grant was reviewed and discussed. South Dakota Gaming Commission of 42-78-48. I've got state representatives coming down next meeting, October 4th, to discuss potential ideas to request a wider distribution of funds to assist with historic preservation across the state. Number 4, a member had requested that Kidney Springs be placed on the agenda due to deterioration and needed repairs. I stated that the pillars had already been purchased and repairs would be addressed in the near future. And we approved payment of those said pillars tonight or last meeting?
Last meeting.
Okay. Under old business, an update was provided on the status of the deterioration by neglect action taken against the owners of the properties located at 243 North River Street and 611 North River Street. Both were mailed a notice with 90 days to respond, which will be up on October 7th. The owner of 611 North River Street did not accept this certified letter, and we are currently waiting on a response from the city attorney as to how we may proceed. Steve Wigna has previously been working with Zoe at the Chamber of Commerce to update the Hot Springs Historic Commission website, part of the site, and Steve has since resigned his position, so we need to follow up with Zoe as to the status of the website and see if there's anything else we want to add or change. I provided an update on the Save Our Sandstone. They're working with Kurt Laut on getting the QR codes, and members of that group have also been working on collecting and formatting the historic information for each building. There's 39 of them. Number 4, options for the railing along the wall in front of American Best Value Inn by the river was discussed. A couple of preliminary bids, went to do 2 different metal works up in Rapid and got a bid from one that gave 2 different prices for different options depending on which metal is used. And so that area, it needs to be like elevated another 18 inches to make it code. There's been some dogs that have jumped over the 18-inch wall down 30 feet to the riverbed. And they're concerned about other patrons doing the same thing. And we need a railing that's between 430 and 500 linear feet long. So through initially the thought was to put up a chain link fence, and I asked that be halted and discussed at Historic Preservation because it is in the historic district and should have a little more consideration. So we have an idea now to reuse the fencing, or the railing actually, from the Minnetonka Bridge when it's torn out. There's like 80 feet of that. And that way Billy won't have to store it, number one. He'll be happy about that. And it is a really pretty railing. And then to continue the rest of the footage with the standard 4 rail horizontal that is throughout the area, so it would match. Before we gave them that design, their initial bid from All Metal Manufacturing ranged between $62,500 up to $75,000 to cover that railing. So So Kara made a motion to reuse the bridge railing centered approximately on the inn lobby, and then to fill in the two sides with horizontal railing similar to that present around the corner and across the river. And so that's what we have brought back to the Public Works to work with. Then number 5, discussion regarding the current vacant positions of chairman and secretary on the commission was tabled until the next meeting. We adjourned at 6:35 p.m. The next meeting is Wednesday, October 4th at 5 p.m. And again, we'll have our 3 district representatives here to help us discuss ways to get our historic preservation and income to work with.
Okay, thanks, Deb. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. You said that Michael Summers is going to paint his building. My question is, his building and other buildings that are dereliction by neglect, has he fixed the leak on the wall that was an inside wall, but now it's an outside wall? Has he fixed that or not? Is he going to seal that outside wall?
Yes.
And get the crack fixed so it quits going inside? Because I have the opportunity to go in there and see where it's leaking at, so.
He did discuss that, and he's working on it.
Okay. So is he included in the letters also?
No, he has not been given a letter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Linda, Evans Plunge Advisory.
The Evans Plunge Advisory Committee met September 14th at noon. Present were Tom Nas, Allison Ritterbusch, Maris Smith, Gabby Martin, and myself as chair. The local dive team has approached the plunge director to ask to do training and to do testing and equipment training. Well, we need more information from them, such as scheduling and the number of people involved in this. So sometime in the future, hopefully they'll get together with us and do that. For equipment updates, we replaced the new circuit board, replaced blown motors on the hot tub, and roof repairs are complete. Suit spinners are available, and the windows are an ongoing issue. Off-season specials begin October 5th and 6th. The senior Thursdays and youth fun Fridays with a $3 admission. There were no monthly incidents to report at this time. I informed the advisory committee that the council at our last meeting had approved contracts 2023-11 with the swim team and 2023-12 with Laura Barner, the fitness instructor, for the September 2023 through March 2024 time period. The next meeting will be October 12th, 2023, noon at the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs, and we adjourned at 12:15.
So that was 2020-2023?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, wanted to get the time.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions for Linda?
I just have one about, you replaced the new circuit board, or you replaced the?
No, a new circuit board was installed.
Okay,
Okay.
I wondered if there's something else.
Okay, I became tongue-tied.
Was there, I thought I remember in past reports about the exterior of the plunge being refreshed, repainted.
That was not addressed at this meeting.
We did talk about it budget.
Yeah.
The director, and the hope is to use the insurance money that they have left over for that. And I think at this time, they're waiting for ISG to propose a cost for some plans.
Okay.
Okay.
Because they want professional plans.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Facade.
Yeah, the director was not at this meeting this time, and hopefully she will be there next time.
Okay, thank you. Parks and Rec, Larry?
The meeting started at 2:05 PM. In attendance were Linda Varvel, Hal Glanville, Gabby Martin, Jason Midgley, Deb Johnson, Lori Sherrard, Chris Katke, and myself. In the cemetery update, Lori has said she has had 2 helpers. There's been a lot of mowing and weeding, a lot of burials, cremations mostly. In the parks update, there'll be a wedding at Chautauqua coming up, the Fall Festival coming up. We just got through with it. They were marking out the sprinklers for bouncy houses, and there's been a lot of mowing of the grasses in the parks. Mueller Center, Chris said 250 plus reception coming up. There's going to be an AA state conference. The Missoula Acting will be here May 1st, the week of. The roof bids repairs are an ongoing project. I haven't had a chance to talk to Tracy about those. Rec update, Gabby gave a lot of information, so what I'm saying here right now, what she's got planned is a tentative program being set up for the winter for kids program, January through March. A new business pickleball update was given by Jason Midgley. They're getting a material list together. The group wants to fundraise money for benches, dividers, shallow depth storage lockers, windscreens, better lighting for the courts. They were talking about the LED type from Black Hills, electricity. In the old business, the volleyball supplies. Need to contact Shrek to pick up the volleyball supplies. Lori said she would get a hold of Bart, Billy. In public comment, the lighting at the tennis court is still an issue. Bart will be contacted to see what can be done to set the timer since fall and winter are coming up. In public comment, there was a naming of the Welcome Park. Deb, I think I'm going to leave this up to you.
Oh, okay. I would like to propose, we've been calling it the Welcome Park, but it's not really a...
Didn't we call the mobile food vending park the Welcome Park?
Yeah,
The Welcome Park on the north side.
right.
That's not the one you're talking about?
No, we're
No, the
talking,
Welcome
I'm
Island
talking
was an
about the
ideal for
area, the area across from, that will be developed across from Lynn's Dakota Mart. And it's going to have a clock that was taken out of the West Oak building and refurbished, so that will be there. I don't know what else, but Keep Hot Springs Beautiful will be also landscaping the place. And I just got to thinking that, we need to come up with a name for this area. And a lot of people have called it an island, but it's not really an island. It's a peninsula because it will be connected with a small piece of land between that and the area on the far side of the Dip Bridge. But my idea was to maybe call it Teardrop Plaza or Teardrop Park because, number one, the shape. And a teardrop is a drop of water. We're all about our water. And another couple thoughts came to my mind, but people can take the teardrop to whatever they want, but mostly it came from the shape of the area is teardrop shaped. But being a veterans town, we can take that another level to the tears that that our veterans have and their families have shed from their sacrifices. And another level, we could go with the teardrops of the Native Americans of the area. We can go all sorts of ways with it, but number one, it's about the hot springs, is about the water. The shape of it is a teardrop, and I just think we need to be a little more imaginative than Welcome Park. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and the other options would be to have a naming contest, and then our mayor brought forth that about naming the suspended sidewalk as well once it's built. And my initial thought for that would be something promenade. It would be to correlate with the old times, the historical, people went on the promenades for walks. So, those are thoughts to be thinking about. This area across from Lynn's will not be developed completely until the end of 2024. So we have time to think about it. But I thought Teardrop Plaza would be a neat thing to call it.
I also don't like Welcome Park because we already have a Welcome Park, kind of,
But not really.
yeah.
Now it's the vendor's park.
Recycling name.
Right, we just need more imagination and something a little nicer.
Okay, so I did talk to the mayor about this. I got the MOU associated with this. Yes, you're correct. A lot of these ideals did come up with Keep Hot Springs Beautiful at the beginning of this. This actual thing right here was not really part of the MOU itself. I've got a picture of the proposed street, 6th Street Island design here. And it kind of looks like a paramecium to me, but that's what it looks like to me, okay? Paramecium. Anyway, so yeah, just let the general public know what's going on, what's happening there. The meeting adjourned at 2:40 p.m. Next meeting will be October 4th at 2 p.m. at the Mueller Center. Linda, any closing thoughts, anything?
No, you guys covered it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Larry and Linda?
I also did approach Keep Hot Springs Beautiful about it too, so it's in, their initial response was, they thought it was a nice idea, but, it's something to keep thinking about.
Because we are, I talked to the mayor, one last closing thought, we are Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development now. I did talk to a member of Keep Hot Springs Beautiful, so from here on out, they're going to start coming to the meetings and participating so that we can all be on the same page and know what's going on and happening in our parks.
Okay,
I'm done. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
She did also mention when I was talking to her about that, if you've noticed down by Big Bats, they've put the big stones down and the weather strip, the weather material or the lawn material and then mulch, and then they have been looking at it and going, it's a lot bigger than we thought when, just to see it on paper versus in real life. And so I think they're thinking they need more plants.
Okay, all right, planning and zoning, Deborah.
We are going to be meeting this Wednesday, the 20th, at 7 p.m. City Hall.
Will it be the public hearing for that PUD for the Martin Street at that meeting? I believe it is. So if you are interested in attending both public hearings, I believe that is the scheduled date for it, because when you approve any changes to your zoning ordinance, has to have the public hearing at planning and zoning and at council. So, for anybody interested in more information about the PUD.
So what was that date again?
Wednesday, the 20th, 7 p.m., City Hall. Yes, 710 public hearing, PUD number 2, Martin Track.
Okay,
710. And then Mildbrandt Alley vacating is on the agenda.
okay. Thank you, Deb.
Yep,
Thanks, didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
I'd already closed the window.
sorry.
Public safety, JR.
Okay, just a minute, I messed up your computer. I did, but I'm gonna get there.
Control, Alt, Delete, Star, dot, star.
That wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. Public Safety met Thursday, September 7, 2023 at 2 p.m. here at the Mueller Civic Center. Call to order, members present, Alderman Bill Lukens, Alderman J.R. Huddleston, Alderwoman Deborah Johnston, Fall River County Emergency Manager Frank Maynard, Gary Baker, Fall River County Emergency Management, and Renee Staley, Fall River Hospital Compliance Manager. Agenda was adopted as published. No communications from the public. Update from the police department, 6 of the 8 of the vehicles have the in-car computers installed. Old business, the traffic control sign request action item list was reviewed. The committee agreed that a four-way stop should be installed at 20th and Washington. This has been forwarded to the street department for action. New business, Frank Maynard and mitigation plan grant application. Frank Maynard and Gary Baker with Fall River County Emergency Management were present to discuss the 2025 revision of the Fall River County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan. Their office will be managing the effort and grant activities for the update in conjunction with Black Hills Council of Governments. The effort requires representatives from each community, jurisdiction, and major facility to participate in the plan update. Meetings will likely start around July 2024. Now, if I don't mess this up, I did. Pins and needles, I can hear them. The committee discussed the need for crosswalk markings at various locations, many of which were brought up during the business owners meeting with the South Dakota DOT. These locations have been forwarded to the street department for action. Learning moment. The committee reviewed the qualitative risk matrix along with the risk register from the pre-disaster mitigation plan. Oh, sure. Sorry, guys. I'm used to having my typed stuff. Computers and I, if you know me, do not get along. Never have. I can't get it back up. Bill, I lost part.
Get him, Travis. Get him, Travis.
There we go. There we go. Oh, hey, I was there. Okay. I think I'm at the end. Yes, I was. Sorry about that. Thank you. We adjourned at 3:17 p.m. Next meeting is Thursday, October 5th at 2 p.m. here at the Mueller Center. Thank you.
Thank you, JR. Any questions for JR?
Yeah, where did you say that stop sign was going to be put in at?
20th and Washington.
20th,
Four-way.
because there's a yield sign there already, correct?
We're going to have 4 stop signs at
4
20th.
signs there. Okay.
The neighborhood showed up with the petition with.
Yeah, I'm
19
aware of that.
signatures.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Because I know that a lot of people, when I pick up some passengers in the morning at that yield sign, a lot of those school kids are zipping down that hill, so I think it's a good idea.
It is a major concern, so
Yes.
we decided to go that way. 4-way stop. If it changes later, we'll change it. But for right now, for safety for kids and for
Exactly.
others
Yes, sir.
using that intersection, it's going to be a 4-way stop.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll give the Public Works report. Public Works met Tuesday, September 12th, 1 p.m. here at the Mueller Center. Members present were Deborah Johnson, myself, Mayor Nelson, Tracy Bastian, and Sean Heil. Under new business, we talked about repair responsibilities within the meter pits and on the meter yokes. Going forward, it's essentially, we don't believe it's the city's responsibility since generally the city does not install meter yokes. Those are done by contractors. The city just comes in after the fact and installs the meter within the yoke. Going forward, our ordinance does specify that the responsibility stops at the curb stop. And in the absence of a curb stop, it stops at the angle valve on the inlet to the meter yoke. We will be developing schematics to develop and more clearly communicate the requirements and specifications called out in the ordinance. And we may need to revise our ordinance if the language is not as clear as it needs to be. Tracy reviewed the flood channel inspection informal results. The Army Corps of Engineers has changed their process. They're doing formal inspections every 5 years and doing the more informal inspections in the 4 years in between. The main issues that seem to be identified this year was the woody vegetation within the channel that needs to be reviewed or needs to be removed. The planned wall repairs that we already had on the books was shared with the inspectors. We also reviewed a resident request from a recent water main break. We continue to look at and review the issue associated with stormwater drainage in the Albany Avenue and 16th Street area. Deb's already reviewed what she shared with us regarding the flood wall railing. We just completed last week the dump week. You've seen around town the asphalt overlay work has started. Regarding wastewater, the wastewater foreman is compiling an estimate for the replacement of wet well pump controllers. I think some of those are included in the 2024 budget. Water department's working on various system leaks. They're installing radio reads out at Boulder Falls in the Back 9 subdivision. And as always, the crews are working to support the road reconstruction project. As far as our 30-day look ahead, there's going to be a lot of work, as always, going on with the road reconstruction project. A lot of valve replacement planned around Canton Avenue and Detroit Avenue in mid-October. Again, that project pulls on our folks daily. We did go through the active and inactive project list, very detailed, in that those tables have been updated and will be posted on the Public Works report that's posted on the website. So we adjourned at about 4:19 p.m. and our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 26th, 1 p.m. here at the Mueller Center. All are welcome. Questions?
I'm interested to see the project list. Does it include all projects we know of in the city?
Yes.
Excellent.
And we're also building out on a separate document when that project we think we might be able, and it's fine to say, well, we think we can do that in 2023 or 2024. But now we got to go back and compare, well, do we have money budgeted for it? Great ideas are easy. Budgeted ideas are a lot harder. And so we're trying to tie, when do we want to do it? Did somebody think to put it in the budget? And if not, then we're going to have a good working list for future budgets. But just trying to put a lot of more form and substance around the project list. We're also working on some tools to help us put some ranking to the projects. How many people does a project impact? What's the risk? Is it a safety issue? What's the cost of it? And just to help us just implement some decision-making tools other than Hal can scream louder than me on a project, or I can scream louder than Hal, or we can both overpower Tracy. That's not good decision-making tools. So we're trying to put some tools in place so that when things come before the council, we can defend, and there's good reasons to do the things that we're asking you to spend the taxpayers' money on doing. Because there's more ideas out there than there is money.
Yep, there it is.
And with that, I don't believe there's a Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee report. And I was going to try to come up with the next date, but I think that falls on a holiday.
October 10th.
Is that a Tuesday?
Anybody have a calendar?
Sorry, I looked at, that's,
That is a holiday.
October 10th is a holiday?
10th, no, the Tuesday, October 10th is
The day after a holiday,
the day after, so
Columbus Day, Indigenous Day.
is that at 5 PM,
6 PM at the golf course,
6 PM at the golf course?
is what I,
Yep.
Misty, what good news do you have for us?
thank you. I have the August financial reports for you. To be clear, because I missed the last meeting, I'm giving you the end of August now, and at the next meeting, I'll be giving you the most of September. It won't be every day in September since we meet so early in the month, but these are a little late because I wasn't here for the last meeting. So as you review the financials, same ones you get all the time, the profit loss summary by fund, the budget to actual, cash balance report, and the investment report, those are all through the end of August. You already did approve the budget, and I appreciate all the time and effort spent in preparing that. It's certainly the largest and most complex task, and takes a lot of effort and many dedicated public servants. It's one of the most important items we adopt each year, as it defines our priorities and establishes the legal spending. We're always striving to maximize our limited dollars. 2024 is no different. I've said it before, every dollar counts, coming in and going out. Every dollar, every time. We know we'll face significant financial challenges as we strive to meet the obligations of the ongoing projects we have. Covering the ever-increasing expenses across all functions of government, maintaining our existing equipment and infrastructure, and tackling projects will be challenging, but I do believe we're prepared to meet these challenges if we follow our plan. I do have a list of the 2024 notable budget items in your reports. It's something I've prepared over the years. If you see something that needs to change, it won't hurt my feelings, but it's helpful to have this throughout the year as we tackle the projects we plan for. I want to remind you that what was approved during budget sessions and in the 2024 appropriation ordinance is only budget authority. All charges, purchases, building equipment repairs and maintenance, or future purchases of any items we discuss during budget planning does not pre-approve specific vendors or purchases, as we're always required to follow federal, state, and local bid laws, procurement policies, and approval of some budgeted payroll items will be on future council agendas for approval before the effective dates, which will be January 1. The SDML 88th Annual Conference is scheduled for October 3rd through the 6th. Myself, Ariel, Linda, and Melissa are registered to attend the conference this year. I'm excited to attend and happy that it's so close to home so that I can come back on the evening of the 4th for the Historic Preservation meeting.
Thank you so much.
Yep, I'm excited to attend that and have the opportunity to listen to our legislators and talk about ideas to get some funding to help us preserve our historic downtown. In March of 2018, the council adopted an ordinance establishing a discretionary tax formula or rebate, and I'll never let you live it down. This year is no different. The objective was to encourage building of new homes and the repair of existing homes. In April of 2021, council repealed the original poorly written or defined ordinance as it failed to accomplish the desired outcomes, in addition to the significant administrative burden it created. Although the original ordinance prohibited late applications, after several property owners contacted the city indicating they weren't aware of the program, in the repealing ordinance, the city directed staff to review all potentially eligible property owners, allowing applications submitted through October 15th, 2021. When we reached that deadline, 34 property owners were sent certified letters, 21 respondents were determined eligible to participate, and with the assistance of the Fall River County Treasurer and Director of Equalization, Finance created the process and documents necessary to annually notify, determine ongoing eligibility, calculate, confirm, accept, approve, and distribute the annual rebates. In 2021, we caught up on 2 years of rebates owed to 8 property owners at a total of $12,691. In 2022, 15 letters were sent with 14 respondents who received rebates totaling $14,113.63. These payments will continue annually until every eligible property has received 5 years of rebates. I'm currently working on sending 19 letters for 2023 and estimate rebates in the neighborhood of $20,000 for this year. We're expecting these rebates to continue through 2027 or 2028. As displayed in the paragraph above, many decisions that council is tasked with may start with good intentions, but can fall short of intended outcomes and cost the city for years to come. I encourage you to ask, read, research, study, and weigh all decisions before voting. And tonight, we really did that, and I liked it a lot. Not everything presented to you can or should be approved. As council members, you're tasked with managing and conducting all the affairs of the community and the city, and it's a very big job. We understand it can be uncomfortable asking questions and making very public decisions, but ultimately it's a requirement of the position you hold. Making decisions regarding items you're unfamiliar with or uncertain about is never in the city's best interest. I and other city staff members understand and appreciate how difficult this can be. We have many city employees with years of experience and knowledge regarding many topics, and I know all of them would appreciate the opportunity to answer questions and help you understand the potential impacts of decisions, so please just ask us. As a reminder, individually and in most committees, you hold no authority to approve action, expenses, or changes to adopted policy, resolutions, or ordinances, or to make promises on behalf of the city. Collectively, however, you represent the entire city. You should be as comfortable as possible when deciding and voting on issues before you. If you're not, please ask more questions. Thanks for all you do to help keep our city moving.
Thank you, Misty. There is no mayor's report, no council president's report, so with that, I will...
Bill, I'd like to say something.
Okay.
In regards to your last statement, Misty, I'd like to not only challenge our new council members, but also all council, that we pick up our packets on a Friday. We have the opportunity, like she said, go talk to people, go get informed, take a look at these things. If you have any questions, Misty, Ariel, they're more than happy to answer that. If the mayor's there, his door is always open to have the conversations with us if we're not comfortable with something. If we see something on the weekend that just catches our eye, we're not comfortable with, we've got Monday before the meeting to go down and talk to, once again, Misty or the mayor or Ariel, find out what's going on, what's happening. I know we have a code of conduct, but also, as long as we don't talk to more than one or for 4 or 5 council people, you know, maybe sometimes it's just not to lobby each other, but just to say, hey, what do you think? You know, I'm not saying that we should just all get together and have a conversation about something, but I think, like Misty's saying, I think we need to educate ourselves to you know, we're in charge of a lot of things here. And right or wrong, at the end of the day, we still got to look in the mirror and see ourselves and what we've done, you know. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
Hey, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, I didn't give you a chance to discuss it. Are you sure? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
Aye.
Aye, 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 aye.